Welcome back to Carrick United Analysis. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. This is the place where Manchester United fans come to get honest, clear, and reliable breakdowns of everything happening at Old Trafford. No noise, no wild guessing, just real information explained simply so every single fan understands exactly what is going on. If that sounds like your kind of channel, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and let us get into today's story, because we just had a genuinely historic occasion in Dublin. Manchester United fans, did you notice who was missing from the matchday squad in Dublin? Because Marcus Rashford, despite traveling with the team and training all week, was left out of the squad entirely for this fiery derby with Leeds United. Let us break down everything that happened in this genuinely entertaining match, what Rashford's continued wait for his first appearance actually means, and where United's pre-season preparations stand as the new campaign edges ever closer. A quick correction on the venue. Before we dive into the match itself, I want to make sure this channel always gives you the most accurate picture. This fixture was played at Croke Park, Ireland's largest stadium, rather than the Aviva Stadium. It is actually a genuinely historic detail worth knowing, since this represented the very first club football fixture ever staged at that famous venue, traditionally home to Gaelic games, with more than 80,000 supporters packed inside to witness it. Setting the scene for a fixture unlike any other, let us properly set the scene, because this was never going to be a routine, low-key pre-season friendly. United and Leeds carry a genuinely fierce rivalry, one of the most passionate fixtures in English football whenever these two clubs meet. Bringing that rivalry to Dublin, in front of a sold-out crowd at a venue hosting club football for the very first time, created an atmosphere that felt considerably more intense than a typical pre-season occasion. United arrived off the back of an encouraging 1-1 draw against European champions Paris Saint-Germain, while Leeds came into the match full of confidence, having won their previous 3 pre-season fixtures, including an impressive win over RB Leipzig. Breaking down how the match unfolded, let us walk through exactly how this entertaining derby played out. United took the lead through Joshua Zirkzee, finishing well after good build-up play involving Brian Mbeumo down the left flank. Leeds responded before the break through Brendan Aronson, leveling the score at 1 each heading into half-time. The second half continued in a similarly open, competitive fashion, with Mbeumo striking the crossbar as United continued to look the more threatening side in front of goal, though neither team could find a further breakthrough, and the match ultimately finished level at 1-1 after the full 90 minutes. Given the specific format of this fixture, part of the Boyle Sports Cup, the match proceeded to a penalty shootout following the draw, adding an extra layer of competitive intensity and entertainment to what was already a genuinely fiery occasion between two rivals. The moment everyone was waiting for did not quite arrive. Now let us talk honestly about the story. United fans were most eager to see unfold, because it did not happen quite the way many expected. Despite traveling with the squad, training all week, and being handed his new number 14 shirt, Marcus Rashford was actually left out of the matchday squad entirely for this fixture. He did not make the bench, and he did not get on the pitch. Think about that for a moment. Every sign throughout the build-up pointed toward at least a substitute appearance, with Carrick himself having confirmed the forward was fit and in line to feature, and with most previews expecting a carefully managed cameo off the bench to help build his match sharpness. Instead, when the squad was finally announced, Rashford's name was missing entirely from the 20 or so players named for the day. Why this omission should not be cause for alarm. Let us think properly about why being left out of a single squad, even after such a long-awaited build-up, does not represent any kind of setback in his reintegration story. Pre-season squads are rotated constantly, and coaching staff regularly hold players back from individual fixtures for all kinds of routine reasons, whether that is continued fitness management following an extended layoff, simply wanting to give him more time working specifically with the coaching staff before his first appearance, or straightforward squad rotation, given how many other players were also competing for a limited number of matchday spots in this particular fixture. Given Rashford's own recent history of a demanding season at Barcelona, followed by England's deep World Cup run, taking a slightly more cautious, patient approach to his actual first involvement makes complete sense from a player welfare perspective. It is also worth remembering that this represented only United's penultimate preseason fixture, with one further test against AC Milan still to come. That match, along with the opening weeks of the actual Premier League season itself, still offers plenty of realistic opportunity for Rashford's first appearance to finally arrive. What this tells us about the pace of his reintegration. Let us think about what this development suggests about how Carrick is choosing to handle this entire process. Rather than rushing Rashford into action the moment he becomes technically available, The coaching staff appear to be taking a genuinely careful, considered approach to exactly when his first appearance actually happens. This fits the same pattern we have seen throughout this entire preseason with every other returning World Cup player, prioritizing a sensible, gradual reintegration over simply ticking a symbolic box as quickly as possible. For supporters who were understandably excited about seeing this moment unfold in Dublin, it is worth remembering that the emotional significance of his eventual first appearance will lose nothing by arriving a match or two later than originally hoped. If anything, a properly managed, patient build-up gives him the best possible chance of making a genuinely strong first impression whenever that moment does arrive. The wider squad picture, several important faces missing. Let us also talk about who was missing from this squad, because it tells us something important about the ongoing story of United's evolving squad this summer. Mason Mount was unavailable for this fixture, continuing to be assessed after picking up a foot problem, an unwanted continuation of the injury concerns that have affected him throughout this preseason, following his earlier setback against Paris Saint-Germain. That represents a genuinely frustrating stretch for a player who had looked genuinely sharp and influential throughout the earlier weeks of preseason training. At the same time, the squad received a boost from several other returning faces around this point in the summer, with the overall squad picture continuing to become considerably more complete as August progresses and the new Premier League season draws ever closer. Why this Dublin trip represented such an important staging post? Let us think about the bigger picture surrounding this entire week in Ireland, because it represents one of the most significant periods of United's entire summer preparations. With Rashford, alongside fellow returning World Cup players, finally becoming available around this point in the schedule, Carrick's ability to assess his squad at something much closer to full strength took a genuinely important step forward. Facing a fierce rival like Leeds, in front of a passionate, sold-out crowd, provided exactly the kind of competitive intensity that helps a coaching staff properly evaluate where the team currently stands, in a way that some of the calmer, less pressurized fixtures earlier in the summer simply could not replicate. The performances of United's academy talents. Let us also give proper credit to some of United's younger players who continued to feature prominently in this fixture, because their continued involvement tells an encouraging story of its own. The starting lineup for this match included several exciting younger talents, including Lenny Yoro, Aidan Heaven, and Harry Amass in defense, alongside Tyler Fletcher in midfield. Seeing this level of continued trust placed in United's academy graduates, even in a fixture carrying this much genuine competitive intensity against a fierce rival, reflects well on the broader development pathway being built under Carrick this summer. For these young players, testing themselves in front of a sold-out crowd of more than 80,000 supporters in the pressurized atmosphere of a genuine rivalry fixture represents exactly the kind of experience that accelerates their development far more effectively than routine, lower-intensity training ground sessions ever could. What this result tells us about United's overall preseason form, let us think about how this result fits into the broader pattern of United's summer preparations so far. Following an opening defeat to Wrexham, United have shown a clear pattern of improvement throughout their remaining preseason fixtures, with convincing wins over Rosenborg and Atletico Madrid, followed by an encouraging draw against European champions Paris Saint-Germain, and now this entertaining, hard-fought draw against a genuinely tough Leeds side who themselves arrived full of confidence. That represents a squad continuing to build form, resilience, and understanding as the summer progresses, exactly the kind of steady, positive trajectory supporters want to see heading into the business end of preseason. The historic occasion for football in Ireland. Let us also properly appreciate the wider significance of this fixture beyond simply the result itself, because staging a match of this magnitude at Croke Park represented a genuinely historic occasion for club football in Ireland. Croke Park is traditionally home to Gaelic games, one of the most iconic and significant sporting venues anywhere in the country. Hosting a Premier League rivalry fixture of this magnitude between two clubs with such passionate, sizable followings across Ireland represented a landmark moment, drawing a crowd in excess of 80,000 supporters and offering many Irish-based United and Leeds fans a rare opportunity to watch their clubs compete live on home soil. Looking ahead to the final preseason test. With this fixture now behind them, United's attention turns to their final preseason match against AC Milan in Wrocław, Poland. This fixture carries its own genuine intrigue, given Milan are managed by Ruben Amorim, the very manager whose falling out with Rashford originally triggered his lengthy exile from the club in the first place. With Rashford still waiting for his actual first involvement of the summer, This Milan fixture now represents a realistic and genuinely fitting opportunity for that moment to finally arrive, potentially setting up a fascinating subplot as he could face his former manager on the pitch for the first time since their relationship broke down, in what would also be his long-awaited comeback appearance. How should United fans feel about this eventful week in Dublin? So how should we as supporters feel about everything that unfolded during this genuinely significant week in Ireland? I think there is real, genuine reason for encouragement here. A hard-fought, entertaining draw against a fierce rival, played in front of a historic sold-out crowd, and continued strong performances from United's academy talents all represent exactly the kind of positive momentum supporters want to see heading into the final stretch of preseason preparations. Rashford's continued wait for his own first appearance is best viewed as a minor footnote in an otherwise encouraging week, rather than any cause for genuine concern, with his moment still very much still to come. Final thoughts before we wrap up. So there we have it, Manchester United family, a genuinely memorable week in Dublin. A hard-fought 1-1 draw against Leeds United at a sold-out, historic Croke Park, continued strong contributions from our academy talents, and Marcus Rashford back involved with the squad, even if his own first appearance is still to come. With one final preseason test against Ruben Amorim's AC Milan still to come, United's preparations for the new Premier League campaign continue to build real momentum heading into the business end of the summer. Let me leave you with one final question before we close out today's video. Are you still confident Rashford's first appearance will arrive against AC Milan? Or do you think Carrick might hold him back until the actual Premier League season begins? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. I read every single one, and I always love hearing the different perspectives from this passionate community. Thank you so much for watching today. If this breakdown helped you properly understand everything that happened during this genuinely eventful week in Dublin, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and share this video with a fellow United fan who is still waiting patiently to see Rashford back in action. This channel only continues to grow because of supporters exactly like you, and every single one of you watching is part of what makes Carrick United Analysis a trusted home for honest, reliable Manchester United coverage. Until the next video, stay excited, stay proud, and let us keep building toward the new season together. Come on, United.